this. Okay. So, hey! I am going to be playing around today with some waxes on this cabinet right here. I've already painted it, so it's already been painted and primed and all of that good stuff. So now it just needs a little bit of a embellishment to bring out the details on this cabinet. Originally it was wood, but it was very difficult to see any of these details. I didn't even know what it was until I primed it, and then I could finally see there's like dragons right here, you know, Chinese symbol, some Chinese figures, fish, koi fish. So it was so hard to tell what was even on here. And then when I could finally see it, I was excited because it's actually like a Chinese carved cabinet, which I've never seen before. And this is actually a silverware holder. So it like holds silverware, as you can see. I mean, I don't have any fancy silverware, but maybe somebody out there does. So it's a really special antique piece, and I'm so excited that I found it, actually. Perfect for waxes. I love using waxes on anything like this, especially if it's like, you know, has all these carved details, molds. Love using out appliques because it really brings out what it is. It's very difficult to see something when it's just one single color, and I think that's a shame because the whole highlight is the actual carvings themselves. They're, you know, art. That's art. So that's why I think painting things like this actually brings out the details more, so you can appreciate all the artistry that went into carving all of this, which is amazing. So it's got, you know, a ton of stuff going on with everything. Alright, and I know you're gonna ask me what paint I used. So the paints I used are a very chalky paint. This is using my signature paint line colors. So I love purples, it's like my thing, and I have noticed there's not really many shades of purple out there. You know, there's a ton of shades of like the basics like blue, green, you know, stuff like that, but I was really looking for some vibrant colors, and I couldn't find them in other paint lines necessarily, or they always get discontinued because they're not super popular, I guess. But I created certain specialty colors that reflect what I love, which is deep, vibrant jewel tones. I used Mermaid's Treasure on here. It looks perfectly blended because my paint is super easy to blend. It's really easy to blend, and you can see all the subtle tones and stuff. I did spray, but I used brush too on the sides, so I'll show you, and it's super easy to blend. So Mermaid's Treasure is this like bright, you know, teal sort of color there. I used also, this is the Beautiful Karoit, and it's like a plum sort of purple color. And then I used Love and Romance. This one's my favorite. It's like a vibrant purple. It's really nice. I love this one. And let's see, that one I mentioned. That one I already mentioned. So Mermaid's Tail. Which other one? Oh, and I'll be using the Paraba's Tail too, which is like a nice light sort of blue. These colors end up turning a bit like lighter, darker, light, darkish when they dry, and then when you seal them, the colors become more vibrant again. So it's just because it's like a matte sort of finish that it looks very flat. But once you seal it with like a satin, it goes back to being super vibrant. So don't worry if you think it's like kind of a little bit not as like vibrant as you expected it to be. It's still pretty vibrant in my opinion, but the color gets enhanced once you seal it. So if you use a water-based poly, it's going to bring out the colors even more and saturate it. So that's the paints that I used on there. And then now I'm going to be using the Decor waxes. I have a million of Decor waxes, so that's another thing that I'll be using on all the carvings on this one. So I have my brushes that I'll be using. Oh, this one broke in half. So, let's see. Sorry, I have to make sure I can get this shared to the group and stuff. Oh, not really saying anything, but okay. Alright, so I'll be doing some purples and turquoise, that kind of stuff. I was going to grab my favorite one. Sorry, I have like a million in my bin, my wax bin. So this one is Lucky Emerald. I love this one. Shabby Pink's really cool too. It's more of a like a mauve sort of color, not really pink. Trying to find my favorite, which is Peacock, somewhere in here. I use a lot of it, so it's probably right up. There it is, Peacock. This one is my favorite one. It's like a super vibrant blue, and I have this one is, which color? Electric Violet. So definitely this one's like a more vibrant purple. Electric Violet. Just trying to find the ones I want to use. There's another one. I need some backups just in case it's empty. Let's see, Royal Robe. Let's try that one too. Can't ever really have too many waxes. I don't think so anyways, but alright, just a lot of these are like almost empty because I use them so much. So brushed iron, no, don't want that. Alright, I think that's it. I think these are the ones that I have that are alright, good. This is the full Peacock. I have a bunch of tins, but they're all half empty for that one. So okay. So I'm going to be using purples, bits of kind of like greens, definitely some blues for sure on all of this to make it really like bring it out and enhance the carvings on here. I have a lot of these brushes. These are the Bristle stencil brushes that Redesign carries. They come in a whole bunch of different sizes. You can get the kits that have a different range of size, so that's perfect for whatever it is that you're trying to do. I just have a bunch because I use them a lot, so okay. Just make sure I have the right ones. I'm going to use the ones that I've already used for that, and then I think the turquoise. Okay, we'll start with Peacock because it's my favorite. And these are all tubes now, so they don't come in these tins anymore, but they used to. So here's the Peacock. So favorite one. And let's see, I'm gonna like dab it. And you don't need a lot on the colors. It's just super vibrant, so you don't really need a ton on it. So why is that? So I'm gonna kind of do like certain bits of an ombre. Do this more on the purple part so it stands out more. It kind of blends in too much with the blues and stuff, so I'm just gonna add it on the purples more right here. And just kind of get all of these areas here and there. Let's see, add a little bit right here. A little down here. A little bit here. I did a Mermaid foyer table, and it was my most requested piece. that I sold, so I'm doing one kind of like it again because I got a ton of requests for it, so this is kind of like the perfect one to use on it. My nose is so itchy. Okay, so do it here and there. Can you see the bottom? Okay, I won't do the bottom because you can't see it. And then we'll do the electric violet. So this is electric violet. And this is the color. It's electric violet. So, one of my other favorites. I'll do a new one for this one. And this one I'll put on the blues because it'll blend in a bit too much on the other ones. So do the blues. Kind of avoid the purple. I did the ombre type thing, so it just gives it like a really nice sheen for decor waxes. And it's really easy to blend with decor waxes, so if you haven't mastered blending, it's really easy to use decor waxes to blend. Because they just mesh together really well, so if you having issues blending, this one's the way to go. Okay, we're just gonna try to put on the corners here a little bit. A little bit on the turquoise, or the peacock, I mean. Let's see where I have the blues. Add a little bit down here. Here. Okay, that's good for now. Let's try some of the emerald. Alright, so try some of this Lucky Emerald color. It exploded last time on me, so that's why it looks like this. It's kind of hard to show on like this, but ooh, I like that. Okay, that's really pretty. Yeah, it's like it's emerald for sure, but I really like that. Wow. Okay, I really love this. Emerald color. Yeah, that's really pretty. Let's use a little bit more. I don't want to use too much because I'm trying to get the other colors to show too. And this one seems to be extremely opaque, so so it definitely shows up. Here. Looking good. I'm just kind of like putting it here and there. It's things on wheels, and this is a slope, so might roll away. Love it. I think I need a bit more of the peacock, but let's some here too. Just kind of do it a little bit here and there so you can see it. Alright, I'm going to add more of the peacock now because I want that one to stand out as well. Oops, better cap this. Right, some more of the peacock. That one's empty. It's peacock. These guys. And it's fun to layer them on top of each other too. As you can see, you can, sometimes it's hard to see it. So if you let the wax dry and then you put it on top of it again, then it'll show up better. It just kind of depends on what's the colors are, because some are not as opaque as the other ones are, and are kind of like iridescent. The opal magic ones are iridescent, so that one you'll have to do it on a dark color in order to actually see it. Otherwise you can't really see it very well. So just check the opacity of the waxes too when you're buying them, so that you get the ones that you want. That. Alright. Dab it on there for more. Really want to get this all to like really stand out. So add a little bit here too. I'm just gonna rub it on a little bit. Kind of like blends in, which is pretty too. I actually did like a abalone type finish using the waxes. That was really pretty. I used the white paint, but then I used the opal, the iridescent colors, and it looked really cool. So that was a great experiment. Okay, I'm going to do some of the violet in here now too, I think. Just to give it a bit more depth than what I'm doing right now. So back to the electric violet. Try the shabby pink, or shabby pink. So also, but I want to get some more purple in here. Add this in the areas that I missed. The waxes really like matte finishes. They don't like smooth finishes whatsoever, so if you really want to get the maximum impact of the waxes, do it on a matte surface. It just gives it more grip. If you try to do it on, say, resin by itself, it's very difficult to get it to cover the whole thing, and it just kind of like wipes off. So when you're adding these, just make sure you have the right surface so that it actually sticks onto it. And since this is really chalky and matte, it does a good job on covering all of this. Okay, looking good. Alright, I'm going to do the bottom now, so I just shift you guys over to the bottom. Actually, let's add some pink. Let's add a little bit of the shabby pink and see how that goes. This is the shabby pink, so I'm gonna try a little bit of this and just see how it goes. I mean, you never know. So, okay, it looks a bit like a lavender kind of color right now, and it's stuck. Alright, it's gonna explode on me if I push it too hard. Okay. I don't like it when it explodes on me. Alright, so this is more of a matte type pink. It's not as metallic-y as the purple, but you can still see it. Just kind of like lightens up some of the areas, I think. I mean, yeah, it like lightens up some of the areas, which is actually not bad. Let's see. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it looks pretty good. It's kind of makes a lighter tone, so that's actually good just to give it more depth and have the colors stand out a bit more when you have the contrast of the light versus the vibrant dark type thing. It just like brings it out a little bit more, but this one is actually very thin, so I don't want it to like kind of just blend the colors together. That's really not my intention, so I'm not going to add a lot of this. Just do it here and there, but not going to do too much. Because I don't want it to be too much. Okay, maybe like add a little bit to these guys right here as well. Is he holding a baby? I think this one's holding a baby or something. You can't really see these like until you start highlighting them. Like really, you can't. Like I think that's a baby right there. I'm not sure. And then the chrysanthemums, of course, the Chinese flowers that you see predominantly on furniture and art. But I just think it's really cool. This is actually a Chinese cabinet. Yeah, it's not super bright, so I'm not going to do too much of this one. And then there's cranes. You can see cranes right here. Okay, let's just move my mess aside. And then let me pull this down so you guys can see the bottom. So here's the bottom part. I'm going to add the turquoise again, or the peacock. I keep calling it turquoise, but it's called peacock. So. Yeah, you can just see how much it highlights everything. It's really pretty. I think this is one of my favorite looks to do, the Mermaid type carnival glass one. I like the orange ones too, but this is one of my favorites just because I really love blues and purples. But I like using all colors, so it's not necessarily like I don't like the other ones, but this is one of my favorites. So that you can see the purple more once I add the electric violet, and you can see that one a bit more. two. Just like dab on here. Doot, doot, doot. Okay. It looks really good. Purple. So back to electric violet, and that one. No. I really love waxing. It's just kind of very peaceful. And it's not difficult. You don't have to really think about it when you're doing it. You just kind of do it however you like and call it a day when you like the overall effect with it. But waxing makes it look a lot more complicated than it actually is to do it. So when people ask me how I did it, I just tell them, yeah, I put, layered a bunch of wax on, and that's how you get the effect. Alright, and I think I'll end up actually adding some patina on here once the wax dries. It's still really slick. You have to give it at least, I would say, a day to be safe, so that it cures enough. Wax takes a bit of time, and it also depends on the temperature, So if it's really hot, it's not gonna harden, super quick. So just keep that in mind too. Go back to the emerald. Let's see, where did I put you? I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go back to some of the emerald. I think I use this brush. Do some of the emerald. I should just do more of it on the leaves. I didn't even think of that. So just do some on the leaves here. So you can see that they're leaves. Right, yeah, I think that looks good. I kind of want more of the peacock though, so I'm gonna add a bit more on that one. So I kind of want more blues actually. So more of that. Just put it here. Okay. Just kind of wondering if I should do the rim gold. I don't know. I'll decide later how much I want it to be, but I might end up doing gold around here, just kind of so it frames it. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Guess I can test it out a little bit and see. Let's see. Is this okay? This is eternal. Oh goodness. Okay, that's not gonna work. I'll just do the tube. I'll use the tube. I just test it out and see how it goes. always wipe this off with mineral spirits, so not terribly worried, but I do want to see how it looks. Just like kind of frame it. Wipe that off. Add this frame. We'll frame and see if I like it or not. Because gold is used a lot on Chinese furniture, so let's see. The framing, do it with the gold. Okay, this is definitely not a look for everyone, but this more. And alright, I'm gonna take a look because it's hard for me to see if I like it up close. So I think I do. It's kind of hard to tell because it has to be more cohesive for me to really see if that's what I want as far as that goes, or use a different color for the frame. I don't want to do silver on this one. I kind of want some rich, vibrant tones, so I don't really want to do silver. So I think the gold is probably what I'm going to end up doing as far as that goes. And then I'll just show you how to wipe it off too. Sometimes you can directly with the baby wipes if it hasn't dried up enough, but okay, I think this is going to work for this. Okay, yeah, it worked for this one. Kind of got a little bit of gold up here too. Later on, I need to like sit on this a little bit and think about it before I do all of it, but I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to end up doing. I think once I do all of it, then it will look better. Just kind of looks disconnected right now, so yeah, but I'm just going to leave it, sit on it. Usually when I can't decide, just like walk away and come back and take a look, or I actually take a photo of it and then I'll like look at it from the photo perspective and it helps me see it differently. I know that sounds weird, but that's typically what I do because, you know, I'm going to end up taking photos of this, right? So if I look at it in the photo, I can see better, like, oh yeah, I need this color here, you know, I need a little bit here or there. So a little bit of a tip if you are having trouble thinking about the design and what you need to add. It's usually easier to just see it from a photo in a different way rather than up close, which can be like overwhelming. So typically that's usually what I do when I am conflicted. So yeah, okay, so that's basically it. I'm just playing around with waxes right now. I've got a few pieces I'm working on, of course, as always. I have a jewelry armoire. I just finished my vanity that you probably saw during the live, so you're going to see photos of that pretty soon. But I'm just finishing these guys up, and I'm going to think about what to do for the rest of it, but pretty much have a good plan. And then after the wax cures, So that test it out by just rubbing it and seeing if it rubs off and if it's soft. If it is, then it's not ready. But if it's, you know, really slick, like this is coming off, if it's really slick and it just feels cool to the touch, then it means that it's fully cured. And then you can seal on top of it with a water-based poly. So I always seal on top of it. For this one, I'm going to spray the poly because of all these ornate areas are just super hard to get using a sponge or a brush. And I hate it when it collects and there's drips, you know? Like, I hate that. So I'm going to use a spray poly to seal all of this. And, you know, that would be the last step. But you can seal on top of wax so if it's kind of like water-based. It depends on the wax. A lot of waxes are very repellent, so don't seal on top of wax in general. But for the decor waxes, you can seal on top of them. So for these ones, since I've tried it and it works, so you can definitely seal on decor waxes. I don't know about other sealing waxes. I probably wouldn't. If I did want to use a poly, I would do the poly first and then wax on top of it, if I was wanting both of those. So that would be like what I would do for if I was trying to seal it with clear wax or something, and wanted the poly. I wouldn't put the poly on top of the wax in that case, just because I think it would cause issues and stuff. So, but for these ones, you can seal directly on top. It's not going to cause any issues as long as it's dry and is cured. So do it that way. Otherwise, when it's not, it doesn't do anything. It just wipes off, you know, and doesn't seal or do anything. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Alright guys, so ask Micah if you see some colors that you want. She basically has pretty much everything, but you know, Micah's daughters, she carries a lot of stuff. So one of my favorite retailers, super nice. So ask her if there's colors that you're seeing that you can't get elsewhere. There's a ton of decor waxes, so you know, it's very difficult to find all the colors in one place, but I'm sure if you ask her, she will get some in stock, so you can buy it. These brushes too, you know, can be bought all together at the same. They call them stenciling brushes, but I use them for dabbing. I actually don't use these for stenciling at all. I prefer the foam roller, but I use these a lot for texturing different stuff and the waxes, and so these are very, very useful to have, and they're not super expensive, so it's better than trying to buy the specialty chalk brushes that are super expensive. These are not that expensive. So alright, so that's it for me today. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll get back to you. I'm going to finish up this cabinet, add some more details and stuff, see where it goes, but that's just one that I wanted to share with you because I love the details on this, and perfect for waxing and stuff like that. So it really makes it stand out, and I don't often find pieces like this, so when I do, I love demonstrating it because it's just creates a very cool unique finish on it that is hard to get with the other stuff. So yeah. Alright, and and if you have questions about the paint, just follow the link and then you can see all the colors that I have for the Jewels line. There's 3 tones of purples, and then there's 3 tones of blues. So I have a turquoise, a lighter blue, and then a teal, like a bright teal color. So check those out if you're curious, because that's what I use for this whole thing. And the paints are really easy to blend. They're self-leveling, but they're really thick and saturated with pigments, so you definitely need to water it down when you're using it, but that just means a little bit goes a longer way. And so for a brush, use a synthetic brush. Do not use the chalk brushes. I hate the chalk brushes. If you're not like layering. If you're blending, use a synthetic brush, a good quality one. The Wiseout has really good premium brushes for affordable prices if you can't get the Klingons, which are, you know, super expensive, but brushes are a good investment. So if you're trying to blend with these paints, you'll need a mister to thin it out, and then a synthetic brush, and you'll go in one direction. So go in one direction, do not go all over the place, one direction for the paints, and it'll blend because it's like, it's matte, but it layers on top of each. I don't know how to explain it, but it self-levels too, as long as you use a synthetic brush. So self-leveling and blends really well. So and lasts a long time and is affordable. So affordable paint. So that's really what I wanted. So it's affordable. It's good quality. Has a lot of pigment, which means you need to stir it. Stir the paint before you use it. To make sure it gets all incorporated in, and then use it. It's just different from other paints. So just super pigmented and saturated for that. And then once you seal it, it's gonna be brighter. So this will be a lot brighter once I seal this. It just brings out the colors and the saturation too. So if you're curious about that, so I have the link up. Just check it out if you want to. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So bye guys, I will see you Sunday. I'll see you Sunday. So.